a quarter of a mile, right turn, onto Southwestern Avenue. Next right. If you dare, I get the paper, so I don't care. My contribution to this jam is confusing because I am milky stated all the way. The super easy minded MC, okay. Yes, I'm down my door. I get the gullies out on the floor. TNT, down is G. Super at the top is where he'll be. Acting up, call on board. Girls come in, you won't be. Next left. Milk is chilling, Gizmo's chilling. What more can I say? Top billing, that's what we get. Got it good, and since you understood, would you do again? In a quarter of a mile, left turn at the end of the road onto South Normandy Avenue. Yes, till your breath is gone. 1, 2, 3, go. You wanna rock the bell? Hell yeah, we gonna rock the bell. Hell yeah, you wanna rock the bell? Hell yeah, we gonna rock the bell. Left turn at the end of the road and then right turn. You wanna rock the bell? We gonna rock the bell. You wanna rock the bell? We gonna rock the bell. You wanna rock the bell? We gonna rock the bell. Proceed about 7/10 of a mile to West Plaza Avenue. 7/10 of a mile ahead on the right. No traffic. In half of a mile, left turn onto West Slauson Avenue. With the scene unfolds, young girls, 13 years old, expose themselves. Too many dogs they can hang, got more. Chris balls in these holes, I let they got rank. She think a thing, proceed about 1 mile to experimenting in to Georgia, United Nations overseas. Train, assassin, do certain shit, ain't knocking or asking. Them coming for niggas like me, whole white trash like Dave, tricks like love, back in slavery. Concentration camps, they was gas like lies. Infernos out those like they had back when they know. Victor was living in 1945. Listen to me now, believe me later on. Niggas ready, see, in the Constitution that in your bitch of a race war places like Operation Heartbreak Hotel. Moments tell until that tight bitch still off this fair. They'll say expect no mercy. Fool, you should be my next word. Gotta deal with W2 1099. A mark black helicopter swoop down and try to put missiles in mine. Who's that kicking in my window? Box it down. Who's that kicking in my window? Box it down. Me and my family moved in our apartment complex. Again with the cereal code was the they say that the community is so drunk. I can say another trying to do, make a curfew and special left for me and you, the traces of the new world order. Time is taking shoulder. If we don't get prepared, people, it's gonna be a slaughter. See that? If we don't get prepared, it's gonna be a slaughter. So they don't take it serious. But every now and then, I wonder if the gate was put up to keep crime out of keep our ass in. In my window. Nobody now. Who's that peeping in my window? Nobody now. Listen up, little nigga, I'm talking to you about what your little ass needs to be going through. I fall a victim too, and I know I shouldn't smoke so much, but I do. With the proof every day on the average about over 5. I'm lucky to keep you alive as I ride on the lives I grew after I lost my best friend me. I'm recognized as a king who reminded you to stop smoking. Now you open to disease and cold and ain't 16 years old. This shit has got to stop. Let's take a walk through the top. I won't out of this hole. I'm in the cell under attack. Look, was the man with the mask, the white pony on my back, a bill stand off my toes, I was on my heels, same plane. Soldiers coming through the dark, flames, before the new system I reign. Tag my skin with your computer chip, run your hand over the center of my your dish now. What's up, folkers? Good morning. January 4th, 2019, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing out there? Well, I'm on my way to work, and, just thinking about all the shit that we've been going through so far in 2018, and even in 2019, all the bullshit that's going down. But, that's for another video. First thing I want to do, I want to do a shout out, man. I want to shout out to this young lady that I just discovered, yesterday actually. By the name of Sara Lena. That young woman is on point. I'm gonna tell you what. Sara Lena, Saralena. She speaks a lot about protecting and honoring and standing up for the masculine male as a feminine woman. And she understands that there needs to be a balance of masculine and feminine energy within a relationship, and that the masculine energy has to remain with the man and the feminine energy has to remain with the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, she talks about the power of being submissive as a woman to your man, but not being a slave to your man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she explains what she means by being submissive and what that means and how it helps build a dynamic relationship with your mate, as a woman, and then she explains how you have to be a certain type of man to have a woman want to submit to you. You know what I'm saying? And she tries to explain to women that, you can't be masculine and be in a healthy relationship with a masculine male. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no balance there. And she talks about how a lot of black women nowadays are very masculine in the relationship, and this causes a lot of problems because you have two people competing to be the alpha male in a relationship at that point, But then at the same time, as a man, you have to be decisive, you have to be a protector, you have to be a provider, and a penetrator. That's what she says. A protector, a provider, and a penetrator. You know what I'm saying? And protection, provision, penetration. She says that a lot. And she's on point, man. Like, and the one thing I do love about her, what drew me to her after listening to her first video and watching her first video was that she reminded me a lot of my wife. She reminded me a lot of my wife. My wife is very feminine. She's submissive. You know what I'm saying? And it works out beautifully. Like, the largest thing we'll argue about is what to eat for dinner. It's funny because she says, Sara Lena says that when she doesn't get her way, she cries a lot. She'll cry and say things like, "You always talk about the bad stuff I do and never the good stuff that I do," and things like that. And my wife does the same exact thing. When she gets into her emotions, and she's very, like I said, she's very feminine, and she'll cry and all that stuff. It's just funny how that worked out. But the only difference is my wife is not really. She's a little too shy right now to go on YouTube and make videos and stuff. She's working on that. But yeah, so, and as a man, if you want your wife to be submissive, and you have to understand what being submissive is, it's allowing your man
allowing your husband to be the provider and the protector. Allow him to take care of you in a way where you know that he's got your back if something goes down. You know what I'm saying? You want a man like that. And then as a woman, you want a woman who, when you leave the house, you know she got it. She can hold it down. Now that doesn't mean that she's weak, right? Being submissive does not mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to fight. It doesn't mean that you're not tough. It just means that you know when to yield to your masculine male, the male that deserves it, you know. And like she said, you have to be a protector. You have to be able to protect your family if some shit goes down. You have to be able to provide a stable environment, a stable home. You know what I'm saying? And I know in today's society, you typically need a two-income household, and that's not. It doesn't mean that you have to, pay for everything. It just means that you have to have that ability if the need arose. You go out there, you hustle to get where you need to be to protect, to provide for your family, provide the food, the shelter, whatever you got to do. Whether it be joining a farming co-op or helping somebody on their farm, whether it be going to a trade school to learn a trade, to keep work steady. And then, of course, you have to be able to protect. You have to be able to stand up and fight for your family. You have to be able to keep them alive in a struggle and a disaster. You have to be able to be a leader. You have to be able to stand up and be a leader in your own household. You have to be a leader in your own household. And then the penetration, okay? Now, she's on point with all this stuff, because before I even heard about her, I felt like I felt like I needed to provide all these attributes that she's talking about to my wife. I mean, and with the penetration, you got to be able to please your woman. You got to be able to satisfy her. And, if you guys get to arguing and, she gets a little buck, you know what I'm saying? D her down real quick, give her that good D. And, she'll yield, you know what I'm saying? Okay. You'll remind her, one of the reasons she fell in love with you in the first place and was able to be like, ooh wee. You got to give her that ooh wee. That's another thing you have to be able to provide as a masculine male to your woman if you want her to be submissive. And, that's just the reality of it. Women love, and she said the same shit. Women are attracted to leaders. Women are attracted to power. So you have to be able to convey and exude that power in order to have a woman submit. Because let's face it, if you're not a very masculine male, if you're more on the feminine side, if you're a beta, not even a beta, if you're a beta males are those that hit women. Beta males are those that rape women, and they're nasty and perverted, and they're really really very abusive. Those are beta males, as opposed to omega males. Like she said, omega males are males that are soft, sweet, and very feminine, and you know what I'm saying, but they're not aggressive and abusive like beta males. And beta males are always the ones in competition with the alpha males, and the beta males are the dudes that we are, as black men, are portrayed as in the media. Okay, we are portrayed as beta males. That's a stereotype that they attribute to us. We're abusive. We hit women. We're killers and all the other shit. As opposed to an alpha male who knows how to handle his business, that will kill if necessary, and kill very more efficiently than a beta male. A beta male does not want to go up against the alpha male one-on-one. So these are some of the things she talks about, and she gets on the head of black feminists. Like, she is very against black feminism and joining the feminist movement and all that stuff. And she's aware of how white women in the past and even today try to recruit black women and and tell them that, you know, they need to buck against us, against black men, you know, because they try to convince black women that they're being mistreated, and this has worked ever since the inception, ever since a little bit after women's suffrage. You know, white women have convinced black women that black men ain't shit and we ain't providing. I mean, and we're not being fair to them. And the problem with that is before all that started, black men were the providers. We actually treated our black women like we were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until after all that stuff started going down, you know, when they started manipulating our relationship, manipulating our family, when the black male, the beta male, started proliferating, okay? Because of all the mistreatment we were receiving, because of, you know, these white feminists convincing our black women that we ain't shit. So it manifested, you know. But now there are very few alpha males. There are very few masculine males that actually handle their business, and we're constantly under attack. They use terms like toxic masculinity or hyper masculinity and shit like that when we try to be when we do us. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us to raise our boys as men. They want us to raise them as genderless. You know, take it up any hole. You know, that's how they want us to raise our men. And you know, we are constantly under attack. You know, and if we give a woman a compliment, we're nasty and perverted. And that's funny because she talked about how black men are always apologizing to her before they give her a compliment, and she thinks that's just so ridiculous that black men or men in general have to give women an apology before they give them a compliment. That's absolutely ridiculous. But see, that's what society has taught our women. That's what society, that is socialization. That's part of socialization in today's society, is we can't compliment women. We can't say women are beautiful. We can't look at them. We can't, you know, appreciate their beauty, because if we do, then we're afraid that we're going to be sued for harassment or some bullshit like that. And it's true. Like,
your destination is
you know what I'm saying? Pardon me. So I just think it's
arrived at your destination. The route guidance
well,
is now finished.
and that's the thing. You know, she recognizes, just like most people with common sense, recognize that there is no equality between men and women. It's not possible, because we're not equal, because we have different attributes. You know what I'm saying? There are some things that women can't do that men can do, and there are some things that women can do that men can't do. That's just a fact. That's a fact of life. You know, we're not equal, and that's a fact. We can't. We're not. So if, for instance, if a man well trained in MMA and mixed martial arts fights a woman who's well trained in mixed martial arts and all that stuff, get in the ring together, 9 times out of 10, if they're equally trained, so that's the equality that you got, right? They're equally trained, but when they get in that octagon or that ring together, 9 times out of 10, the man is going to win. 9 times out of 10, because the power that we bring, the strength that we have, and let's face it, this well-trained man fighter knows how to bring the power with his punch. The woman does too. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, he's going to have more reach. He's going to have more strength. Okay, he's going to weigh more, and if they're just as sharp, if they're just as accurate, he's probably going to land more because he has that reach. Okay, she might be a little faster. I might give you that. The woman might be a little faster, but she would have to land way more blows. but all he needs is one good shot. So it's about recognizing that men and women aren't equal. We're not. A transgender MMA fighter cracked the skull. Exactly. And and then two women identifying men in track just blew all the women competed in the track meet and just blew all the women out of the water. It wasn't even a contest. And they allowed them to race because they said they identify as women. They hadn't even had any surgeries or anything like that. You see how ridiculous it's getting? Now they're allowing in schools so-called transgender men or so-called women identifying men compete in track meets with women without having taken any type of hormone blockers or anything like that. Oh, you say you're a woman? Okay, this is getting ridiculous. They want us to be feminine, okay? They want the woman to feel like she don't need a man. And she talks about that too. She talks about why women do need men and why your children needs a man in their life. Women are a daughter or son. You need a father in that kid's life, okay? Period. And she breaks it down. She breaks it down all the statistics about the percentage of rapists who had a fatherless home, the percentage of child molested people who had a fatherless home, the percentage of gay men that had a fatherless home. And it's not just like 51%. It's up in like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Okay? That should tell you something. If you don't have a man in a home, there could be a lot of problems. Because let me tell you something. Women or men, because you need a woman in a home too. Women or men, we can't take both roles up. He got kicked off the team as a man. Who? A Canadian trans guy won a lawsuit from a women's football team because he is a man. This is getting ridiculous, man. You should peep Irene Yvette on YouTube. She talks about everything you're talking about. The Sugar Sister watches her now on my suggestion. I'm gonna check her out too. But Sara Lena, she's on point, man. She's we need more women like her speaking up and speaking out like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and shoot, like she gets on men too. If you ain't on point, if you ain't providing, protecting, and penetrating, you know what I'm saying, the way they need it, you know, you're gonna get a woman who's bucking. You know what I'm saying? It's just, my thing is, I had father figures in my life. I didn't have my father, but there was always a man in my house because my mother is my mother is submissive to her men, but she might be a little bit too submissive because my father and my older sibling's father before him used to put their hands on her. Okay, so they were the beta males. My dad was a beta male, and my older sibling's dad was a beta male, and you know it was part of the conditioning. You know, they were conditioned to be that way. You know, through slavery, Jim Crow, and then you know the civil rights movement. You know, all these things coalesced into the number of beta males that we have in black society. And then now you have Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton comes along. Okay, no. Then you have Nixon with the war on drugs. Okay, come on. That contributed to the number of beta males we have. Then you have Bill Clinton. Then you have Bill Clinton with his war on Negro. Okay, I mean, then you have Hillary Clinton talk about how black kids are predators. Okay, then you have her husband locking up more black people. Like he contributed to the lockup more black people that were in slavery at any given time. So more black folks were locked up under his watch than were in slavery at any point in time in history. Okay? So you have to look at all those things. I mean, we have been we have been conditioned, we have been oppressed. It's just a fact of life. You know what I'm saying? We just have to recognize that. We have to recognize that the black alpha male is the most powerful alpha male in the entire world. When black alpha males get on their shit and handle their business, it's like nothing. The power behind it is like nothing you've ever seen, and the reason that is because the feminine woman behind him is holding him up and having his back. Okay? Black women always say that I'm the mama and the daddy. That's the most, yeah, exactly. That's the most ridiculous thing that you could ever say. My dad literally was around the corner from me from the age of 11 until I went to the Navy. Yeah, you know, my dad lived in Inglewood. We lived in LA. My dad lived in Inglewood. But I hadn't seen him since I was 4 years old. And then I saw him again when I was 24 years old. My brother had died, a brother I didn't even know I had in Louisiana. So I got a lot of people in the South. My brother in Louisiana apparently was one of them ice cream man, drug dealer niggas out in Louisiana, and somebody ran up in his house. We think it was somebody he knew because he was chilling in his little Barker lounger, and he had a hole in his head. You know what I'm saying, from a gunshot. So it looked like he was chilling. So the person that apparently knew him. Anyway, that's when I saw my dad again. So, and it was that one day, and I was like, yeah, I don't need you. And then that was it. But that gave me strength. Seeing him and seeing, all he did was run around, make babies all day, all over the place. So I probably have siblings everywhere that I don't even know about because of this nigga. That's how he rolled. Beta male. They just want to spread their seed, you know, and they don't want to protect nothing. They just want to. They're scared of commitment. They're scared to provide. They're scared to protect. So what they do is they lay seeds and they get out of there. Bitch ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? But again, I understand that it was part of the conditioning. And now the conditioning right now is so ridiculous. Men wearing dresses and videos, you know what I'm saying? Men kissing on men. Like, there's nothing wrong with giving me a pound and a little nigga hug, you know what I'm saying? Pelvises don't need to touch, you know, or just a decent handshake. You know, it's just society, and then the chemical processes that go on. All right, all these chemicals, all these foods, the soy is packed with phytoestrogen. Beer was probably the most dangerous weapon against our masculinity. I'm gonna tell you. Well, hops beer, okay, beer with hops in it. Hops has the highest concentration of phytoestrogen than anything else that humans consume. Hops in beer, okay? Guess what? Niggas was drinking a lot of beer. Niggas be drinking a lot of beer. They advertise beer is a man drink, right? You put that phytoestrogen in it, guess what? It's really a woman drink. You can't say the word submissive around blacks. Well, you know, they just have to get over themselves, you know? Because we're not talking about submitting to white folks. We're talking about a woman submitting to a man that deserves it. And you have to know what submitting is. It just doesn't mean that lay there and just take shit all day. That means that you recognize and you can allow that man to be. Yo, I love how as soon as the fifth person came up in here, it started buffering. Oh man, you know what's funny? I'm gonna veer off a little bit. Men's Health magazine talks about pleasuring women all the time. Good stuff in there. Yeah, I mean I didn't learn from Men's Magazine, but I tell you what, I did learn how to please a woman like nothing else. When I was 18 years old, I got with this 24-year-old woman, and she had no problem telling me what I needed to do to hit them spots. And from that point on, I became a master, okay, to say the least. Yeah, if you're a beta, she'll dominate you, or she'll drive your ass crazy. You know, you have too many feminine qualities. So the beer, you know, soy, all this other shit, it throws off the hormonal balance in a man and a woman. So a woman has problems if she has too much estrogen, just like a man has a problem if he has too much estrogen. So, like, I wanted to veer off about this shit, my signal being all choppy for 30 seconds. They talk about, they talk about the space station out, they talk about the space station out in outer space, right? The space station in outer space that they had these astronauts in, right? They have the best connection in the world. It's like it's live in HD. These niggas, it's so crisp. It's like going to a movie, right? But I live in a city with 8 radio transmitters, and I can't even get a good ass signal. So how the fuck is the motherfucking outer space have a better signal than me? I just want y'all to think on that. Anyway, yeah. I mean, and another thing about the penetrating men over sexualized beast, and she talks about that too, about how we're over sexualized. Like we're considered to be over sexual, when really I mean, we're men. We have, you know what I'm saying? We want, and she talks about, giving your man good. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be putting niggas on pussy punishment and all that. Like, she's on point, man. Like, I mean, I understand there's certain circumstances, certain times where as a woman, and if you don't really have to pressure your woman to do anything like that, she when she's ready. But it's just a lot of men have become selfish too, sexually. They think they just want to get their nut off, and then she talks about how a lot of women come there talking about they fake orgasms and and all that other stuff because their man is just not providing that mental stimulation. Okay, 80% of good sex is mental. Okay, now I don't usually talk about stuff like this, but from what I've James Evan, I got to, who's that? One is you don't have to, but if you get her wet before you even take her clothes off, you in there. You got to get her wet before you even take them clothes off. Cause I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. There was I was dating, okay? She had 2 kids of her own, but she was so into your boy. Like, I mean, I would touch her leg if she's busting a nut, and it was like she let me. I mean, it was we in a car, and I go to touch her thigh, and she just boom right there, things like that. And then when we got it in, I'm telling you, she was, I mean, super squirter, like 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a session. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just some little bullshit that I'm throwing in there just as an example. I mean, you have to mentally stimulate your woman, and that helps. That helps get her to where you need her to be, and have her ripe and ready. Wife now, she never squirted before. I'm not gonna put my wife's business out there, but it is what it is. But when you get them to achieve that the first time, it's like a drug. It's like a high, you know what I'm saying? And they ready and willing to get that in again. So, it's just about mental stimulation. Power is about that leadership. It's about taking charge. It's about being decisive. Because if you guys are trying to decide on something and you both like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? She wants a man that's Yeah, foreplay and orgasm the key. I don't know when she is orgasming. Like there's a way to tell. Like I know she don't even have to be loud ass noises. She she can be real quiet and just real concentrating and struggling to, you know what I'm saying. Once you get them to relax, once they're reaching that orgasm, it's they that's when they release the flood gates. That's when they open the floodgates. You got to get them to relax. There's a lot of women tense up when they're orgasming, and you have to convince them to relax. Just breathe and relax and just let it flow. Let it flow. Yeah, let it flow. You know what I'm saying? That's what Tony Braxton was talking. I think, did she say let it flow? What was she saying? Let it flow. Yeah, they gotta get them to release. And you have to, and one way to do that, you have to make a woman feel comfortable with letting you be in control and letting you take charge. And that's not just sexually, but in every aspect of life. You know what I'm saying? In every aspect, you have to show them they can relax around you. Yeah, when she said let it flow, she was talking about just relax. And if you wanna come real hard, you gotta relax. Let me tell you something. Man, I had this one chick, and we started having sex in, and it happens again. She's shaking and shit, and she yeah, bad. So like I was saying, she was shaking, and she ejected me from the vagina and flew off the bed, and was still vibrating on the floor. And then like she get in the bed, and every time I touch her, she would come again. I'm not even penetrating anymore. It was wild, and she just didn't know what to do with herself. But eventually, she learned to relax a little bit. She was relaxing more and more, and then she just it just went. So only alpha males can achieve that in a woman. That's just real shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you just mentally something about you that just makes them like ooh wee, like You know what I'm saying? That's real shit. That's the power of the masculine male. That's the power of the alpha male. That's the power of the leader. You know what I'm saying? That's the power of a man who can take charge. And you know when you have that feminine woman that will submit. You know what I'm saying? Because they just get there. You don't even have to. You breathe on them and they're there. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You stimulate them. You gotta give them you give them that ripe stimulation. You know, and they'll be in the business. They're all there. They're all in. You know what I'm saying? Then after 8-9 years, it's like with my wife, you know, she get it in so good, you know. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that, but that's part of being a real man, knowing how to please a woman, knowing how to get them there. You know what I'm saying? And if ladies, if you agree with what I'm saying or disagree, if there's something that I'm missing here, let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm not on point. I believe I am though. I believe I'm on point. I have. Yes, salute the K Bear. You know what I'm saying? Yes, my queen, my submissive, feminine queen. Now she don't take no shit, but she submits. You know. She loves to have a man. You know, a lot of her friends are like, man, I wish my husband. I wish I had a man where I could stay home with my kids and homeschool my kids and things like that. She's the envy of a lot of her friends. Yes, I am. I appreciate that, Derek. I appreciate you. So anyway, I got to get to work. They opened the gate up late, so that it is what it is. That's their fault. You know what I'm saying? They don't open the gate until 2 minutes before starting time. It is what it is. My boss ain't even here yet, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I just want y'all to check out Sara Lena. And Derek, what was that young woman you were talking about? Yvette something? I want to check her out too. She got some good shit. Yes. She is the envy of her friends. They, you know, they. Let's face it, because a lot of these men. I mean, it is what it is. Yes, Irene Yvette. Yes, I'll check her out. All right. So anyway, peace, y'all. Much love. Hit that like button. Share this video. It is what it is. What you laughing at, Nate? So yeah, hit that like button. Hit that share button. You know what I'm saying? Leave a comment, ladies, fellas. You know, tell me what you think about that. You know, share this video. And yeah, y'all have a good day. Beautiful day. Peace.